Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary with another Fan TV, man. Back at you, the video at the content. This video, go and smash that like button at the content of this channel. Go ahead, subscribe, man. Look, so first off, the Ravens, clinching the AFC North, clinching the number one seed in the playoffs. The road through the AFC has to come to Baltimore, right? I wanted to talk about somebody that I wanted to mention yesterday, but forgot to, and that was Ravens offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, right? Todd Monken deserves a lot of credit and praise for what he has done with this Ravens offense in only his first year in charge, right? Now, listen, I am going to give Todd Monken pretty a credit and praise in this video, but obviously the players are the one that have to do it on the field. Lamar Jackson has to be the superstar MVP kind of guy to make the plays come to life, make it happen out there on the field. So just because I'm giving some credit to Todd Monken, I'm no way taking away from the players that are putting the work out there on the field. Okay, all right, so with Todd Monken, right? So we think about it back to the offseason, right? The Ravens, fired Greg Roman, a move that we've seen coming for quite a long time, right? So when the Ravens first got Lamar Jackson, 2018, got the Ravens to the playoffs, lost to the Chargers. 2019, they established Greg Roman's offense, which was no different from what he did in Buffalo or what he did in San Francisco. But with Lamar Jackson at the helm, it blew up, right? The Ravens were the best team in the NFL during the regular season, obviously lost in the playoffs. And then the next several years, we kind of see a stagnation of the offense. While Lamar Jackson himself becomes a better player, the offense kind of stagnated, right? I think that in 2019, that offense helped Lamar Jackson ease into the NFL, made the transition from college to the pros very easy for him, or easier than it would have been. But it was clear by 2020, the very next season, that he had outgrown this offense and that it was actually holding him back, right? That you can see Lamar Jackson making plays in the passing game, in the pocket from year 2, year 3, where people would say, oh, he wants to run around. No. Lamar Jackson has always been a stand in the pocket. I'll scramble as a last resort if it's a pass play. I'll scramble as a last resort, right? I'm not looking to run one read and I'm done, right? So it was very clear that the offense that Greg Roman implemented, while it was good in the first year, helped ease Lamar Jackson into the league. I think by 2020 it was time to move on, right? But the Ravens waited a couple years later, and a whole contract dispute with Lamar Jackson, and we get a new offensive coordinator, right? At the time the Ravens get offensive coordinator Todd Monken, Lamar Jackson isn't even technically a Raven, right, at the time, right? So, but I want to give Todd Monken credit for a couple of things, right? So the first thing I want to do is lack of ego, right? When you come in as offensive coordinator, you want to say, hey, look, this is my system, my scheme, this is what I do, adapt or die kind of thing, right? Todd Monken has been known at every single stop he's been at, whether it's been Georgia, whether it's been Tampa Bay in the NFL, anywhere else previously, is that he adapts his offense to the players that are around him. He doesn't try to fit a guy into the scheme where it doesn't do any good for him, okay? He adapts to his players well. If you give Todd Monken a set of players, he's going to build an offense that's constructed around those set of players, right? I think that's a major key. I think that's a major strength. I mean, how many times do we hear about office coordinator say, hey, well, this guy can't do this, this, or this, right? He can't fit what I do, right? Well, how about this guy was a talented player, right? Just using it, anybody as an example, but he's a talented player drafted into the league for a reason. How about you find out what he can do and put him in your scheme, right? I think Tom Monken has done a great job of that, right? The second thing is when I talk about lack of ego is that John Harbaugh said that the Ravens' run game was really effective under Greg Roman, and he's not lying, right? The Ravens had the best ground attack under Greg Roman in the NFL, right? Maybe only San Francisco, some guys like Detroit maybe are close to that, okay? So when Tom Monken came in, he said in his introductory press conference that I'm not going to change a lot in the run game because the run game they have here was already solid. Why would I change up something that doesn't need to be fixed, right? We'll do some more things in the passing game, and he's done that, right? To me, that showed great humility, right? Because once again, I could change this entire system right here. No, we're going to keep some of the running game elements here, right? They obviously worked. Why would I change them? But we're going to upgrade the passing game, make it a modern NFL passing offense. And he did those things, right? He implemented those things right there. Okay, so to me, lack of ego, humility, willing to honestly put the blame on himself when something doesn't go wrong, right? Not saying Greg Roman ever really pointed fingers, but Todd Monken is open in front of the media. If something doesn't go wrong, the Ravens have too much drag, as he would like to say, he takes blame for it. Open and honest and upfront about it, right? He never has anything like, well, the players need to do this and that. He puts it on himself. I think that's a very, very great characteristic to have, right? Especially as a coach, right? Now, to me, the most important thing that Todd Monken has done as the Ravens offensive coordinator, right? Has it been perfect this year? No. All right. There's sometimes where I thought the offense should be different ways. Should they pass the ball a little bit more? Do they run too many screens sometimes? I think yes, right? But besides just that, the play calling stuff, right? Whatever, right? Because all that stuff is important, right? The play calling could get better. He's his first year with the team. The most important thing he's done as the Ravens offensive coordinator is empower Lamar Jackson. Okay, Lamar Jackson was a guy where he said it plenty of times during when he was frustrated with Greg Roman's offense. That I remember a couple years ago he said they know what we're doing out there. They know our plays. Pretty much saying that we're predictable. The defense is pretty much calling out what we're going to do before we even do it. Right now, what Todd Monken has allowed Lamar Jackson to do is change the play, be a field general, right? If you see something out there that's not working or something that should be different, you have the power to change it. It's not just, hey, we're going to line up, call the play as called, and that's what you do. When you have a person like Lamar Jackson, who is an extremely creative person, why would you try and limit his creativity by making him fit into a box where he can't ad lib, right? Think about all the off script, all kind of scheduled plays that he's had this year, Lamar Jackson, right? Especially in the last month and a half, because he's able, when he has that freedom to not do what he wants, but to do more out there, right? He has full control of this offense. Hold on one second. Sorry, I was trying to look for this quote from Lamar Jackson from his press conference yesterday. So I found it, right? So Lamar Jackson was asked about Todd Monken and getting him into a rhythm as a play caller versus the Dolphins, all right? He said, that's the type of game plan I like, or that's the type of game that I like. He was dialing it up, very aggressive, but we was letting me be the decision maker, right? So Todd Monken has brought an aggressive, attacking, offensive mindset to the Ravens while also empowering Lamar Jackson to be a full-time decision maker out there, right? I remember during the offseason where, with Lamar Jackson wear the wristband, not wear the wristband, whatever. He's wore the wristband, and I think it's helped him, right? He's been able to change plays a lot of scrimmages, easy to communicate with it, and things that you haven't seen Lamar Jackson do in the past, not because he couldn't do it, he wasn't allowed to do it or wasn't in the flow of the offense. Lamar Jackson is checking plays at the line of scrimmage, changing multiple plays. I've seen him do it multiple times this year where, it's probably a pass play. He checks it to a run, it explodes. It's probably a run play, checks it to a pass. It ends up being a good game, right? So for me, Todd Monken, right, when you look at a guy like this, right, who has qualities that you want in a coach, right? You want your coach to be one, have a great upbeat personality. Well, you don't have to be upbeat, but a great personality, right? Todd Monken has that kind of personality. Everybody talks about his energy that he has around the locker room, right? That he's one of the guys that lifts spirits, okay? So you want your guys to be able to connect with your coach, right? Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson probably don't have a lot in common, you know what I mean? But the way Lamar Jackson talks about him, you can tell that that Todd Monken connects with him, okay? You want a guy that is adaptable, right? He has shown that this offense that he's running right now for the Ravens it has some similarities to what he did at Georgia, but it's completely different from what he did in Cleveland. It's completely different from what he did in Tampa Bay. He's showing that I can do multiple things, and that's one of the greatest abilities that you can have. I mean, how many coaches go to different places and run the same thing? We just talked about Greg Roman, run the same thing that they ran at their previous destination, right? Todd Monken hasn't done that. He's actually saw what the Ravens had, said, okay, this is what we can do. This is how we're going to win, right? And like I said, the players are the ones that make it happen on the field, and they're the ones that make the plays out there. But I don't think the Ravens can go through this season that we could talk about this great team, this offense that's getting it together week by week by week without mentioning the guy that's calling the plays, right? Todd Monken deserves credit. He deserves praise for what he's done, especially in year one. Throughout this season, you can see that the offense will go through ups and downs, right? They're trying to find a rhythm here and there, but it's kind of like this is his first year with the Ravens, so you kind of expect those kind of things. But when this offense gets it going, they're truly one of the best offenses in the league, right? And even when they have one of those slow days, you still feel like points are there that they could score, that they could do more. So I've never really felt discouraged by Todd Monken being the offensive coordinator so far with his Ravens tenure, and I think that's a great sign, right? Like I said, if I had to change one thing, probably they throw too many screen passes sometimes, especially wide receiver screens out wide that the Ravens don't always seem to block too well. But to me, that's a very, very minor detail, right? So for the Ravens, for Todd Monken, clinching number one seed, clinching the AFC North, completing the first couple of objectives of the season. Now they have a lot more to do. Win playoff games, win Super Bowl, blah blah blah. They have a lot more to do, but I don't think we can celebrate this win without giving Todd Monken some credit for what he's done to implement the new offense for the Baltimore Ravens. So that's my thoughts on it, man. I just wanted to come here and say that. So hope y'all have a great day. Happy New Year. And God bless, man. It's Gabriel, another Fan TV. I'm out.